Hey friends, we're here along the coast of North Carolina. We are shark tooth hunting today. So we have just arrived. It's beautiful out here. I'm really excited to find some shark teeth today with my family. I've got my dad, my two little babies. Aurora is sleeping right now, and my husband Jacob. So we'll see what we find, praying for some shark teeth, but I thought you would enjoy coming along with this journey with us. Enjoy! What'd you find? A sea biscuit. Oh, look, do you see the seagull tracks? What you got? Oh, look at that beautiful shell.
Notice up there, you look that way, everybody's in the big heavy beds. And what I'm doing is right there is getting fresh waves are coming right over the little bits. And when you go in that area, you find teeth.
Wow, congratulations, Dad.
Thank you. That's a, I believe that's a bull shark.
Wow. That's
Millions of years old.
so shark tooth hunting along the coast is really kind of just a patience game, if you ask me. I have never found a tooth personally. I've not really gone much, but my dad goes multiple times every week, mostly to this kind of area where there's a lot of shell beds and such, and you kind of just have to be patient and walk and look and sift. And multiple times in one trip he's found a tooth, sometimes he's found no teeth, and sometimes he only finds one or two teeth. And a lot of it also depends on what time of day he goes, where the tide is at, and even probably the weather to some extent. How much has been churned up and redeposited on the beach. And it's something that once you find a tooth, it kind of becomes a little addicting. My husband found a great white shark tooth recently on his first trip with my father here, and it really kind of got him hooked, and so now he wants to go too. And yeah, if you ever are along the Carolina coast, the kind of like south of Wilmington area along the beaches where there's a lot of shell deposits, it's apparently prime shark tooth picking. So I know that Charleston, South Carolina is like golden. There's a place in Maryland where we're from called Calvert Cliffs. A little girl on Christmas recently found like a record-breaking megalodon tooth. So there's actually a lot of opportunity to find shark teeth along the East Coast, and kind of like the mid-Atlantic. And so if you're ever in this region, stop by the beach and try to find a tooth. you doing, pretty girl? There you go. Oh yeah. Will you explain a little bit about the sifter, what that is for?
Well, typically, if you're down by the water, if you find a lot of little fragments and pooling, you can just sort of scoop in there, and like right here, it's all dirt, but there are beds down there that sometimes have a ton of shells that have been covered over, and then you just go like that in the water, and you'll see a whole bunch of fragments, and sometimes you can actually find them.
Nice.
But as was told to me, most of the teeth you're going to find are sitting on top. They're not going to be underneath the dirt, the sand. You might find something really good underneath, but because the teeth are generally lighter than most of the shells, so they rise to the top.
Very cool. Thank you, Dad. Are you looking for shark teeth, Clover? Ready? Go! As you can see, the pelicans go along the surface of the water like that and are obviously hunting, I would say, but it's one of the cool things about living right on the coast is we get to see a lot of the action that happens in the Atlantic that growing up along a bay I never got. Okay, what'd you find?
I'm going to guess it is, unless that's part of the root, I'm going to guess that's perhaps a sand tiger tip. Sand tiger shark. You can see the enamel with the shine.
Yeah.
And it was just right there, just sitting like that. That's why keep an eye out.
That's awesome, Dad.
In real time. Tiny little things. Then it's worth taking a scoop. See? There's stuff that would be buried. And then we wait for the a little bit. Look.
Woo!
Come on. You see what you do? And then you just go through. See?
Very neat, Dad. What'd you find?
Oh, for sure. That, because it's angled, I would say it's probably, it doesn't have serrations. It might be a bull. That's a good
You
sign.
gonna throw it? Woo! Nice. What is it? Is that a shell?
I do kind of have reason to believe that this very well could be the tip of a shark tooth.
A bull shark.
Okay.
It's got the root and the whole thing. And then I found what I think is a sand tiger shark tip. And don't know what that is. And then this looks like a mako because it has no serrations.
There you go.
Just make sure when they topple, they go.
Woo! Oh, you got it. Good job. Whoa!
Oh, you're fine. You can eat your food.
We want to be at probably 2 hours prior, because then the water is literally washing over that whole bed, and that's when it's easier to see them.
Yeah.
because they stand out, because they typically are sitting on top of the beds and they shine a little better.
Hey folks, I am standing over some English muffins that I'm making right now, and I thought I would talk to you a little bit about homemaking because it's been on my heart for a couple months now I've just been pondering this topic a lot, and I think we have this kind of like mom culture around homemaking that's like one or the other. Either you are into the perfect aesthetic, everything is clean all the time, you're high functioning, all that jazz, or you're into like the garbage mom lifestyle where just like everything's a mess, and that's fine. I just accept it. And I really want to say, let's strike the balance. You know, I want to strive for a tidy home, a tidy heart. You know, I think that those things are intertwined in faith, and that the outside is a reflection of the inside for sure. But I think there are seasons and times in motherhood where the mess is the mess, and we just have to accept that the priority is not cleaning the mess all at once, and that it's going to take some time to get back into order. And I think that that's perfectly acceptable. And you know, I'm going to do a time lapse here of me cleaning my spaces with you, and just know that when you clean your space, as I was doing during this particular video time lapse that I'm going to share with you, it's a act of gratitude to God. Thank you for these dishes. Thank you for these clothes for my little babies that I get to clean and put away. Thank you for this bed I get to sleep on, and thank you for the floor I get to sweep, the little banana crumbs that were left behind from my toddler. And just, we all know life gets hard sometimes, life gets overwhelming, and I think what my big message is right now about this and homemaking is strike that balance. Find the tidy in your heart, in your home. Find the beauty as well. Don't forget it's there. Even when you're overwhelmed, light the candle. Even if your house is a mess, light the candle. Praise God for it. And accept the mess and accept the tidy in a balanced rhythm, and go with the flows of life and strive for that tidiness, but don't idolize it either. And you know, I think that's one of the biggest things as a mother in homemaking that I've had to learn, is that my identity is not in how tidy my house is, but that how tidy my house is in most seasons reflects how tidy my heart is, and how forward and capable and able I am to be that way towards God, and my gratefulness for what He's given me. So enjoy this time lapse with me cleaning my spaces, and thank you for listening to my little rant. So now that I've talked a little bit about cleaning your home, I want to talk a little bit about nourishing your home. And that is a spiritual thing as well as a physical thing. And in the physical aspect, you know, in nourishing your family, that could be physically going somewhere like to the beach and spending time together, but it's also about going that extra mile in the way that you feed your family. And don't get me wrong, there are seasons of life that I really think are that side of the balance of life's just too hard. Here's your healthy O's, you know, like I definitely have had that and will continue to have seasons of that. But there are seasons in my life where I recognize the utter importance of going the extra mile with the way I feed my family, whether that's, you know, spending the time to make a beautiful roast with all these beautiful ingredients and having that lovely dessert, or, you know, even just a simple chicken noodle soup that you just poured your love into. And so I'm about to show you some clips of me spending that extra time. I had to prepare a special treat for a Valentine's Day party that's tomorrow, and this was the footage from my test run of that. And I made little, what I'm calling Pop Hearts. They're homemade Pop-Tarts. They're strawberry jam and simple pastry with an egg wash. It's actually very simple. You just got to do it, you know, and it's, I wouldn't say very labor intensive or time consuming, but I also love making things. And so I think going that extra mile, and even if that's not something you regularly do, but spending the time to every now and again bless your family in that form of nourishment that's a little bit extra. Do I braise oxtails every day? No. Am I going to do that maybe once a month? Yes. You know, and just infusing with love, cooking with love is the most important ingredient that you can put in. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's very true. You know, the energy you put in your food, we're going to eat that, you know, and I always do my best to be cooking in a headspace of love and nourishment. And so I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the footage from that experiment on sourdough discard pastry dough where I made my test run of the strawberry Pop-Tarts. So enjoy. Here you see me rolling out the chilled pastry dough that I had made about 12 hours prior. I added sourdough discard to my basic pastry dough, and I was very happy with the results. You could not tell a difference with that versus regular pastry dough while I was cutting it out or handling it, and it held up to holding the jam in very, very well. As you see, I like a lot of jelly in my Pop-Tarts. And you could definitely add less if you wanted to, but you need to keep the edges clear of jam so that you can seal them properly. And I just do a little bit of an egg wash on those edges and then put the top of the pastry over and kind of just gently press them before sealing them completely with fork prongs. This keeps any jam from spilling out. You'll add a little bit of an egg wash on top to help get that golden brown color we want in the oven. Now, while we're baking them for about 15 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, you make a royal icing with lemon juice and icing sugar. And while they come out of the oven, you'll want to cool them just slightly and then pour over the glaze. I personally don't think you want a whole lot of glaze on there because the jam is sweet enough. I add a little bit of sugar to the pastry dough itself so that it has that sweetness, but not too much. And it really just adds that beautiful glazed finish to the top. As you see, it really just shines and makes it all look really professional to me. And as I cut it, I was so happy. It was so flaky, full of jam, the way I like it. It was very tender pastry. And here you see that good layer of jam. Clover was very, very happy. She was so excited. She blew on it, as you can see, just to make sure it wasn't too hot. But she was very, very satisfied. It was definitely still a little hot.
Hey friends, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here and sharing on the journey with the shark tooth hunting and homemaking and Pop-Tart making. I'm very, very pleased with how those turned out. So I am excited to share more baking and more adventure, nature-filled things, and just all around so grateful for your presence here on this channel, and I'm so thankful to God that I'm in this part of my life now where it is easeful and genuine to be making this content for you guys. So I appreciate your presence here, and I'll see you in the next video.